AI looks like software. It appears in a browser tab, inside a phone, behind a chat box, or inside a product demo where everything feels instant. But the strange thing about the AI boom is that the more advanced it becomes, the less digital it starts to look. Behind the model is a server. Behind the server is a data center. Behind the data center is a substation, a transmission line, a cooling system, a backup generator, a transformer order, a utility planning meeting, and a grid connection that may not exist yet. For the last few years, the AI race was explained as a race for chips. Then it became a race for money. But the next bottleneck is much older than either of those. Electricity. The question is no longer just who can buy the most GPUs. It is who can power them. The scale is easy to underestimate because data centers are designed to disappear from view. They sit behind fences, outside cities, beside fiber routes, near substations, or on cheap land where the physical internet does its work quietly. For years, that worked because the internet became more efficient as it grew. Cloud computing consolidated old server rooms into better-run facilities. Hardware improved. Cooling improved. Then generative AI arrived and changed the shape of demand. Training large models required dense clusters of specialized chips. Running those models for millions of users created a new wave of inference demand. The International Energy Agency estimates that global data center electricity use was about 415 terawatt-hours in 2024. In its base case, that demand reaches around 945 terawatt-hours by 2030. That is still a small slice of global electricity. But the growth rate is the signal. The IEA expects data center electricity use to grow around 15% a year through 2030, more than 4 times faster than electricity demand from the rest of the economy. And electricity does not arrive like software. A data center can be planned, financed, and built in a few years. A transmission line can take much longer. A new substation needs land, equipment, studies, permits, crews, and coordination with a grid that was already doing something else. A large transformer is not a file you download. It is a giant physical object with a long supply chain and a queue of customers ahead of you. That is the first hidden problem. AI companies move on internet time. The grid moves on construction time. The United States is becoming the clearest stress test. U.S. data centers used about 176 terawatt-hours of electricity in 2023, up from 58 terawatt-hours in 2014. By 2028, that could rise to between 325 and 580 terawatt-hours. Depending on how the rest of the economy grows, that would mean data centers consuming roughly 6.7 to 12% of total U.S. electricity. If a data center wants enough power to serve a city-sized load, it is not just buying electricity from nowhere. It is asking a specific grid, in a specific county, through a specific utility, to deliver that power at a specific location. And the grid may answer, not yet. National percentages can make the problem sound manageable. Local bottlenecks are different. Data centers cluster around fiber, land, water, tax incentives, cloud regions, and existing power infrastructure. That means the pressure does not spread evenly across the map. It lands on particular substations, particular transmission corridors, particular transformer banks, and particular communities. The visible building is only the front end of the demand. The harder question is the infrastructure behind it. Who upgrades the substation? Who pays for the transmission line? Who gets priority in the interconnection queue? Who absorbs the risk if a giant customer asks for power, triggers billions in planning, and then delays the project? In the PJM interconnection, the grid region that includes Northern Virginia, capacity prices have hit a federally approved cap. PJM said its forecast peak load for the 2026 to 2027 delivery year rose by more than 5,400 megawatts, driven largely by data center expansion, electrification, and economic growth. Capacity prices are not the whole electricity bill. But they are a market signal. They say the system is being asked to prepare for more demand, while supply and transmission are tight. And once that signal reaches bills, permits, and public hearings, the AI boom is no longer just a business story. It becomes a local story. People start asking why a new facility needs as much power as a town. They ask whether it will raise utility rates. They ask whether it needs water. They ask whether backup generators will run near their homes. This is why New York's 2026 pause on large data centers matters. It was not the end of AI. It was a sign that the physical infrastructure behind AI had become visible enough for politicians to intervene. The strongest version of the argument is not that AI will simply break the grid everywhere. The stronger point is that AI is exposing the grid's weakest assumptions. For 20 years, many parts of the US power system planned around relatively flat demand. Now the forecast is changing. Grid Strategies says the aggregate national load forecast has reached 166 gigawatts projected by 2030, a six-fold increase over the flat growth forecast from 2022. That load growth is not all AI. It includes manufacturing, electrification, electric vehicles, heat pumps, and industrial reshoring. But data centers are one of the sharpest and fastest pieces of it. And unlike many other loads, AI data centers want clean, reliable, always-on power in very large blocks. That creates a strange new geography of advantage. The next AI hub may not be the place with the best office market or the most famous engineers. It may be the place with spare power, fast permitting, available transformers, tolerant communities, and a utility willing to make the deal. This is why big tech is suddenly interested in nuclear power, advanced geothermal, dedicated renewables, batteries, gas generation, and behind-the-meter deals. They are not just buying green branding. They are trying to buy certainty. There is a hopeful version of this story. AI could help optimize grids. Better chips could reduce power per task. New data centers could finance clean energy that would not otherwise get built. But those are not automatic outcomes. That is the buried signal. The AI boom is not floating above the physical world. It is pressing down into it. Into copper. Into steel. Into water systems. Into transformer factories. Into county meetings. Into capacity markets. Into the monthly bill. The next phase of AI will not be decided only by who has the best model. It will be decided by who can build the machine around the model. And the machine does not run on hype. It runs on power.